Very common question I get. Paul, should I invest in stocks or real estate? First off, there is no direct answer to this. They're both investments. A lot of people will say, I'm a stock guy. Other people will say, I'm a real estate guy. You know what I say? I'm an investment guy. I'm here to try to understand investments in general. Stocks are a method of investing. Real estate is a method of investing. Now, it's very rare to have that. But I will tell you, there are differences, and it probably depends on where you are in your life and what you're doing, whether you should buy real estate or stocks. So what are the benefits of stocks? First off, very liquid. What do I mean by that? You can buy and sell very quickly. If I told you right now, go buy 10 shares of Nike, it's done in a matter of milliseconds, right? You're just going to go into your account, hit the trade, you're out. Real estate, don't quite have that. If you want to buy or sell real estate, it takes time. Guess what? That's actually one of the benefits of real estate. It's illiquid. Now you might sit there and say, wait a second, I probably just spelled illiquid wrong. Probably like, what do you mean? Why is that a benefit of real estate? Well, you're not going to sell irrationally. In stocks, the second you have a gut feeling or if some news article comes up, you're going to sit there and go, I'm out. You go to your brokerage account, you sell. And it's been proven time and time again for decades that the more you jump in and out of stocks, the less and less money you make. That's why real estate does so well. You don't have this ticker on top of your house or on top of your rental property saying, this is what it's worth today. All you care about is collecting the rent, living there, doing maintenance, etc. And then over time you wake up and, oh, wow, look at this. Now, another benefit to stocks, much bigger market. You can get much more global exposure. You can find companies in different countries, different states, etc. With real estate, you're probably buying where you live, which is great. But it doesn't give you that diversification of things. You can't sit there and if you live in where I live, Cleveland, Akron, Ohio, and see a house located in Omaha, Nebraska, you want to rent out and say, I'm going to go buy that house and rent it out. It's going to be a little difficult, right? But with stocks, you can go all over the world, all over the world. That's the best part about stocks. That's a great part about stocks, okay? Now, major benefit of real estate is debt. You can borrow money. Now, there are idiots out there like Dave Ramsey who sits there and says debt is bad. He is wrong. Debt can be a good thing and debt can be an awful thing. What's key to understand is what kind of debt this is. A bank will let you borrow anywhere up to 80% of the value of a piece of real estate. And you take the rents that you're collecting, because I'm really talking about rental income and real estate as an investment in terms of having a tenant. And you take that rent in, you pay your expenses, you pay the bank, and over time, the value of the property goes up, your mortgage goes down, boom. You have profit there. That's a great part. Another benefit of real estate, taxes. The government will let you depreciate the value of your property over a 25 or 40-year period, depending how big it is. And it's really 27 to 30 some years. And it depends on what kind of property it is. That's a non-cash expense. What that means is, hypothetically, let's say your property is worth $200,000. To make things simple, I'm making this up, and let's say the government allows you to depreciate over 40 years. Every year, you can take a $5,000 deduction. That's allowed on your real estate without you spending a dollar. It's just a $5,000 deduction. Now, if you sell your property someday and you depreciate it fully, you've got to pay back depreciation and recapture, but you get that deduction today. And you can take that deduction right off other income, pay less taxes, and invest more money in the future. Now, before I go any further, this is our new real estate channel. If I've provided some value for you so far, do me a favor, subscribe to us, and also put in the comments below as we build this channel right now what kind of real estate videos you want to see us do. Now, a downside to real estate versus stocks is money. You can buy stocks with $10, whatever amount of money. Real estate, it takes some cash. Because if you want to go buy even a $200,000 property and the bank requires 20% down, you've got to have $40,000 as down payment. Plus, I actually do believe in a rainy day fund on real estate. I don't believe it in your personal life. I do believe it in real estate because anytime your roof can go out. I once bought an apartment building. And literally the very first day I owned it, there were 4 buildings in it. One of the buildings with 30% of the properties lost its hot water tank that day. First day I owned it. It happens. It's the way it works. And we had to go replace the hot water tank. At the time, it was like $3,500, and that was 2004. So you can imagine what it'd be now. That's a lot. Now, granted, it's a big property, so I had rainy day fund, but those things do happen. With stocks, you open your brokerage account. I can open on Webull or whatever. And by the way, I do not endorse any of these companies, but you can open it with whatever you want. Now, the biggest difference between stocks versus real estate is return. Guys, the historical average for stocks is 9 to 10%. That's assuming you buy a low-cost ETF. The average person gets between 6 and 7% after they get in and out of stocks at the wrong time. They trust a financial advisor. They buy mutual funds that are terrible. With real estate, guys, I always tell people, if you're not making 13 to 16%, don't waste your time. And you might sit there and go, well, Paul, 9 to 10 versus 13 to 16%. Guys, that difference of 5% a year over 25 years when investing $25,000 a year. Let me show you that difference. So we're going to have two assumptions here, two scenarios. First one is stocks. $25,000 a year for, let's call it 25 years at 9% return. This is the future value of an annuity. Now, if you want the nerdy part, here's the equation. 25,000 times 1.09 to the power of 25 minus 1 divided by 0.09 equals $2.1 million. Assuming you have a tax-deferred account, you don't pay taxes till the end. All right, not bad. $2.1 million. So you put in 25 grand a year, 25 different times, and you got $2.1 million. Okay, let's just change one thing here. Let's change this from 9% to 14%. That's a 5% difference. What's the difference now? This now equals $4.6 million versus $2.1 million. And at the end of 25 years, you're probably gonna have a lot of these properties paid off by paying down mortgage, and you still have the value of these things and they're still generating cash. And you can probably then live off this money, off the income coming here and never touch the principal. When here, the income's gonna be 2% off dividends, you're gonna have 40,000. This could be 7 or 8%, that'd be several $100,000 a year. That's the difference. It's not just a difference in over double the money in 25 years. You're also talking about the income being generated that you can live off of. You might sit there and say, Paul, I don't want to be a landlord at the age of 60, 65. You don't have to be. By then, you're going to know how to do it, and you can go find somebody to manage it for you that you watch day to day, not a third-party manager. We'll get into that in the future about how you should avoid third-party managers. But this is the key. This is why real estate can be such a great investment. But remember, it's all based on the price you pay. So welcome to the new Everything Money Real Estate channel. And if you're interested, even if you don't have the money right now, but you're interested in learning about how real estate can be awesome, make sure you subscribe. Thank you for your time.